Hey everyone, this is Carita Parks with Bowie TV, bringing you my Ravens rundown for the last week of OTAs before minicamp starts next week. And here are some highlights from the week that stood out to me. First and foremost, Lamar Jackson, he was back. It was a lot of talk because he wasn't at OTAs since week 1, but he returned, getting that momentum before they go into minicamp. He was out there having fun with his teammates, didn't miss a beat, had a touchdown to Mark Andrews, who we know is his favorite target. Also, Zay Flowers caught a long reception from Lamar Jackson. Devontae Walker also got in there a little bit as he continues to grow and fold into this wide receiver core. I also want to talk about Malik Cunningham. He was brought in last season as a quarterback, and he's been taking reps with the wide receivers. And we're seeing constant improvement from him week after week. So he really may be in the wide receiver competition as we head into the season. It looks like that's where the Ravens like him right now. So that is something to continue to watch. Also, for me, Pepe Williams, he had another great week. I mentioned last week how he had a few interceptions. Once again, this week, another interception for him. So that defensive back group is really competitive. There's a lot of depth. TJ Tampa, also want to talk about him. The rookie, he had a really great leaping pass breakup over Zay Flowers. So he looks really comfortable out there. Sandusi Kane, I've seen some good things from him. So it'll be interesting how that group pans out as training camp and the preseason unfolds. Because like I said, there's a lot of depth in that DB group. Also, on the linebacker side, Trenton Simpson, he talked to media this week. And, you know, with Patrick Queen signing with the Steelers, it is his time to step up. I actually had a one-on-one with Trenton Simpson last year, and he talked about the fact that having an opportunity to learn from Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith is preparing him for the role that he's about to take on. In talking to the media, you know, he said he's excited, and he reiterated the fact that he's had a chance to learn from the best. We saw a flash of Trenton Simpson last year against the Steelers. He got his first sack. So I really think that we're going to see some good things from Simpson. He seems really positive. So it was a great conversation with him. Also want to bring up Andrew Vorhees. He spoke to media as well. He's coming off of an injury that he sustained last year that kept him sidelined. And what I liked about our conversation with him is he talked about when he got injured, the mindset for him was why. But as time went on, he shifted his mindset to why not. And so I asked him if he thinks that that mindset will translate onto the field. And he answered me by saying that he thinks that it has boosted his confidence. So it'll be interesting to see how the offensive line pans out now that he's back in the picture. And also, speaking of the offensive line, Roger Rosengarten, we spoke to him as well. The rookie, we have not spoken to him since draft night. So it was good to talk to him and see where he is. And what he said is, like, right now, it's been really good to be involved with the veterans because they've been able to give him a lot of tips on what to look for and what to do. And speaking of which, I also want to bring up Zay Flowers again because similar to what Roger was speaking of, Zay was one of those veterans during rookie camp that was coaching up, during OTAs, that was coaching up some of the rookies. I saw him on the sideline yesterday, and he was going through some drills with rookie wide receiver Dayton Wade. And that is one thing that Zay Flowers said. He said that this year he wants to take on more of a leadership role. And that is something that we're starting to see him do, especially with no Odell Beckham Jr. There has to be a leader in that wide receiver core. So they still have veteran Nelson Aguilar, who we talked to this week as well. And he's happy to be back, happy to continue taking on a leadership role himself. He is in year 10, so a lot of experience there. And also one of the reasons that Eric DeCosta mentioned he brought Aguilar back. That is my Ravens rundown for week 3 of OTAs. We will be back for minicamp, so be sure to follow Bowie TV for all your Ravens content.
Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman. We want to say that our prayers are with him. I think he had an issue, a health issue today over there with the Chiefs at their practice. So we just wanted to tell the world that the Ravens are thinking of him and his family. We're praying for his health. The other thing we mentioned to the guys is D-Day, 80-year anniversary of Normandy, the invasion of Normandy, to begin the year-long domination of the American armed forces to win World War II. Very proud of that. And to all the military families all over the world, the sacrifices they make for us, and specifically to the families of those who participated in World War II. Couldn't be more grateful. We never take that for granted. Okay, what questions do you have?
John, now that you've kind of have taken some reps with that new kickoff, the alignment, right? Is it still kind of what you thought? Do you think it's going to be successful with how they have designed it so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting play, a fun play. You know, it's you can kind of look at it philosophically any way you want. You know, there's things it takes away. You know, you don't have a line of scrimmage anymore or whatever, but you don't have an onside kick surprise anymore. But it does add things to the game, and the main thing it adds, the positive. I mean, I thought there was other options. Let's be clear about that, but I was for doing something, and this is something. And basically, at this point, we're committed to it. So you know, we see the good of it, the excitement in it. It's going to be a lot more returns out there, and we're just trying to figure out how to be successful with the play, both covering the kick and returning the kick. So we're looking at it from every angle that we possibly can, and hopefully we'll be good at it next year.
John, anything you can share?
Some talk of teams not using their primary kickers to do kickoffs. Is that something that you've thought about at all, or do you expect us to?
I would say we thought about everything. You know, it's just a matter of do you have a guy that can kick it in there consistently, and if you do, it probably is an advantage because you get an extra tackle in there and you'll put your kicker at risk. So I'd say we're looking at every aspect we can think of.
John, as a head coach, former special teams coach, when this rule is implemented, do you immediately, like, how do you think about it initially? Like, do you go to, oh man, they're just changing everything, you know, it's a whole entirely new rule, or are you excited about the challenge as a coach of beating the other teams as far as schematically and kind of new stuff you can implement?
The latter, for sure. I mean, you just get right to work on how we're going to teach it, how we want to coach it. We couldn't wait to get out here and get out here even in this type of a practice and run plays and see what the angles look like. And so we can kind of glean our coaching points. What do we want to tell the guys? And we told the guys, this is a collaboration. We're learning this together. You know, where do we want to drop? What's our targets? What's our landmarks? What's our leverages in the kickoff? What are our angles? Tell us what you think when you're out there. So we're trying to make sure we do the best we can at the end of the season, understanding we play as well as we can. And then I'm sure we'll learn a lot once it starts happening for real.
What have you kind of learned in that process? Obviously, I know you're not going to get too much into strategy here, but if you can even share an example of something.
Yeah, I think we've learned about the spacing and the timing, the angles a little bit. We think we have. I don't think you really know until you play real games. Preseason practice too. Once we get in pads, we'll be able to practice it almost full speed. So that'll help us.
We've seen Devontae Walker and TJ Tampa matched up a number of times. What are you seeing out of both of those guys?
I think they're both TJ and Tez are both doing a great job of taking one step at a time and getting better every single day. You know, it's not competitive in the sense. You know, if there's a deep ball thrown down the field, you know, the DB's not trying to take the ball away. So you got to understand that. So we expect those catches to be made, but we want them made. You know, and we want the DB right there in position with his eyes on the football. I think both those guys have gotten better every day with technique and assignment. They're probably all the rookies ahead of where we would have expected in those two areas.
Coach, Mark Andrews been pretty dominant. Not sure any effects from that ankle injury on coaching and stuff.
Yeah, haven't seen any effects from that. He looks good. He looked better this week than last week even, and came back in great shape. So excited to see him out there.
John, you've moved on a couple of vets in the O-line, both Morgan and John. What are you seeing from this current group that's really impressive so far?
I've seen a lot of big guys that can move, you know, and work hard, pick things up quickly. The nice thing is there's nobody that's gone out there and say, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I mean, so far, every single guy looks like he could be the starter. So now we get into pads, we get into preseason games, let the guys compete against one another and see who wins the jobs. But all of them are still in contention at this point, which is very good.
John, what is the best thing that a rookie offensive lineman can do to get your attention in a positive way during a game?
Well, you should know what he's doing. You know, if the play goes to the right, we don't want him going left. You know, we don't want to see two guards clunking heads, both of them pulling in opposite directions. I think that's where it starts. Is you should be able to pick up your assignments. Then you want to see a good foundation, footwork, hands, those kind of things. See him in the weight room working hard, getting stronger. That's really as much as you can do.
John.
We're just teaching him right now. We're learning.
Sorry, John. We've seen Devin Leary make some great throws. We've also seen some picks. Do the interceptions not really bother you because you kind of want guys unafraid to maybe figure things out at this level compared to the college game?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be times out there. Hopefully, our defense is creating some tough situations for a quarterback. You know, and I hope our defense puts the quarterbacks in the toughest situations they'll see all year. That'd be the goal. So you want to see some of that out there and just see the guys grow through it and get better.
John, you feel you got out wanted from the OTAs as you're headed into minicamp?
As much as you can. We have another day, so I'm not really counting anything yet for tomorrow. You know, no assessments as much as you kind of look at the next day and say, all right, we want to be intentional about what we want to accomplish today. You know, like every coach, what's your main thing you want to see? Make sure the players understand it. Make sure every player has an intentionality about what they want to go out there and accomplish. I think if we all do that collectively, we're going to look back and say, you know, we're as far along as we can be, and that's really what we do.
John, with Justin, as we know, he's so accurate and so attention to detail in a lot of things. How important do you think that will be as far as the new kickoff rule and where, I mean, I guess Hangtown really doesn't mean anything anymore. It's more about placement, would you say?
Yeah, I'm not ready to make any pronouncements like that. I think having a kicker that can put the ball in spots with various types of hang times will be an advantage, and Justin definitely is the guy that can do that. But I don't know if hang time is going to not matter or not. We're just going to have to see how it all plays out that way. We have a lot to learn about the play.
John, when mentoring mini camp starts next week, do you expect Marlon to be full go? Is he completely healthy and ready to practice?
I expect him to be ready to practice next week. We'll see. Whether it's full go or not, or whether we choose to put him out there full go. I don't know yet. It's a good question.
Do two more.
John, any other guys we shouldn't expect to see at minicamp next week?
It's
Besides
getting my list out.
besides the
All right,
regulars.
I got my list.
That's what you have chat for.
The guys that are out, that are out,
Right.
we definitely will see. We might see Adisa back, for instance. I'm hopeful. We might see Bo back, hopefully next week. Off the top of my head, guys like that. Jabo started getting individual today, right? David did. That was really good to see. So it's kind of working through.
John, what are your thoughts on your brother's tattoo, and what would it take for you to get a tattoo similar to what he did?
I'm not afraid of getting a tattoo. I want to make it clear. If we win a Super Bowl, I probably could be talked into something, but it's going to have an I and an A. I'll tell you, any tattoo I have is going to start with Leonard Nelson. Family first, man. I'm pretty sure Jim probably got that bit thing too. If I look at that tattoo closely, I bet there's something in there that says Sarah on it. But I did read an article recently. Did you see it where they say tattoos it's a health thing, health risk? Anybody see that article? No? You got a tattoo?
Yep.
You might want to check that out. I saw that.
I guess you didn't share that with Jim. To this new kickoff rule, when you kind of learned about it and kind of the changes to it.
Yeah, I think initial reaction was you got to be positive about it and think about it in terms of this is going to keep the play in the game. And this is not just going to keep the play in the game, it's going to make it much more exciting. I think there's going to be a lot more action as far as kicks that will be returned. In the last several years, the trend has been for most teams to send the ball into the end zone, give up the 25-yard line, and the play was essentially not happening as it was designed to happen. But now, in all likelihood, we're going to see a lot more returns, and it'll give a lot more guys opportunity to take that play and make it a big play. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really exciting.
After so many years in the league with this kind of big rule change, is it kind of exciting to get back in the lab and get creative with what you can do?
Yeah, it is. Just like a pitcher tries to develop his stuff, I'm doing the same thing out here, trying to figure out whichever way we can, in our minds, gain an advantage, gain an edge, and whether that means putting the ball in different spots, making it challenging for a returner to scoop up the ball easily. All of those things we're looking at right now. Granted, we are kind of in the fledgling stages of what we're trying to accomplish here, what we're trying to figure out. So, like you said, we are in the lab, and more recently, my lab has actually been the weight room. This might be really surprising to a lot of you guys and a lot of my teammates, because I don't spend to hang out in the weight room too frequently. But after watching a lot of these XFL plays over the last couple of years, kicker seems to be involved in 25% of the tackles. So I've mixed it up a couple of times. I've gotten in there, but now I gotta get some more shrugs, get the traps going a little bit, just to make sure I'm prepared to prepared for a little bit more contact. But in all seriousness, it will be a lot of fun to see what we come up with, and then see what other teams come up with, and then see how we can gain an advantage on the play.
In all seriousness, though, or do you plan to, because of the it sounds like kickers are going to be involved a little bit more. Will you add more muscle because of that?
I have put on 3.8 pounds. So can you guys tell? Probably not. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Justin, I asked John, there has been talk that some teams may not use their kicker to do the kickoffs. Do you want to be out there? Do you want to be the guy doing it?
Well, hell yeah, I want to be out there. Yeah. Any chance I get to be on the field, I'm living out my childhood dream, So whenever, wherever that is, I'm going to make sure I'm ready to go and put the best product on the field that I possibly can. You know, at the same time, in fairness to, you know, the idea that, you know, a safety or a linebacker or somebody that has, you know, a little bit more practice, a little bit more training, as a coverage athlete, as a tackler, yeah, I think it's totally fair to, you know, turn over every stone and see what you got. I mean, who knows? There might be a hidden gem in our locker room. A guy that can, you know, pinpoint, drop the ball, you know, off the tee, you know, on the 5-yard line at the red fade line, just drop it on a dime, and then just go down there and smoke the ball carrier. So, I'd like to think I would be that guy. But you know, just like any and all positions out here, evaluations are comprehensive and ongoing. So I'm just going to do everything I can to make sure I have every kick available, and everything else that I need to have available. Every other way that I need to be prepared, I'm going to make sure that I do that for this, you know, for this team.
I'm sorry, just, I can't imagine what you're making tackles though. Or how valuable you are as a kicker. Have they talked to you about that? As you go down there getting injured?
I mean, I think it probably would make the most sense that you don't want any of your specialists getting hurt throughout the course of a game. But this is still football in the National Football League, you know, so, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we're just going to have to, you know, we're just going to have to see what happens.
Just have you gone back and watched like XFL film, and how much of that have you kind of consumed?
We have, yeah. We've, I know Randy, Chris, Sam, those guys have watched probably every XFL kickoff that has happened with these, you know, with the similar rules. There are a couple of things that are, a couple of nuances that are a little bit different between their rule and the NFL's rule. But they have studied it thoroughly. I've studied clips that they've sent me. I've seen clips on my own. You know, just, and that's just part of being a pro, just doing everything we can to be prepared to, you know, or just to, you know, just to develop our own ideas for how we're going to attack the play as well.
Have you been working on tackling drills, or when was the last time you worked on tackling drills?
That's a really good question. It was probably in high school at this point, but I think it's one of those things, it just comes natural. You know, if you're a ball player, like you stick your nose in there and, you know, hopefully you're giving out more of a hit than you're receiving. So that's a plan, at least right now. We'll see how that all works out.
We didn't get a chance to ask Coach Harbaugh because he came before you, but don't they discourage that from your perspective for you to avoid contact?
I don't think it's necessarily something that is encouraged, but it's not discouraged either. You know, it's just it kind of just comes with the territory. It's a football play. We're all football players out there, and ultimately, if a returner is you know, beelining toward the end zone, and I'm the last guy there to stop him, it is part of my job description. It's not necessarily, you know, priority A. You know, priority A is make kicks, and then, you know, as far as kickoffs go, you know, be able to put the ball wherever coaches want me to put the ball. And then, you know, somewhere in there is be ready to make the play on the ball carrier if you have to. So, you know, maybe we will start doing some tackling drills over there in training camp. It'll probably be really bad TV, but we'll have fun doing it.
So you're 13, you're talking about even extra ways that you want to improve your own game. Team-wide, given you guys finished last year, how have you seen the focus really enhanced going into this season?
Yeah, you know, I think this team, the core of this team has done a really good job of coming into this offseason program with the right attitude that we're going to pick up right where we left off. We were doing some really, really good things, especially at the end of the year when you want to be performing at your best. We were doing a lot of really good things, and just, you know, focusing in on those things, and then also just ruthlessly attacking our deficiencies, you know, whatever they may be. We always talk about the idea of around here, you don't attack the person, you attack the issue. You confront the issue. You know, you kind of have to have a little bit thicker skin for that and realize it's not about, you know, anything I have going on personally, but how can I help my team improve? How can I improve so I'm more of an asset to my team? And that's something that, you know, the core of this group, the leadership of this team has done a really good job of carrying over from last year and years prior when we've had a lot of success. Carrying over from prior seasons to this time right now. And it's something that I know, Roquan, Lamar, even young guys like Tyler Linderbaum, Kyle Hamilton, really leaning into that idea and finding ways that we can all step up our individual and collective games. This team's doing a good job of that.
One more for Tuck, please.
Just how is Nick Moore looking after recovering from the injury and kind of back to a fluid operation?
Yeah. I wouldn't say back to a fluid operation. Tyler did an excellent job for us last year, and we appreciate his hard work. He did a great job stepping in, kind of last minute, if you will. It's like right at the start of training camp, and you guys that know me well know that I like our operation to be airtight. I like it to be hermetically sealed, and nothing can penetrate nothing can disrupt what we've got going. And the more we rep it out, the longer we have to work together, the tighter our operation becomes, the more efficient we become. So, losing out on realistically several months last season was tough, but Tyler did a great job stepping up. And as far as Nick goes, Nick's doing an excellent job picking up right where he left off. He was coming off of a Pro Bowl caliber season in my mind. I thought he should have been a Pro Bowler. He was coming off of an All Pro caliber season. So it's not just us that recognize how good of a job he can do. It's he's being recognized by his peers across the league as well. So it has been really good to see him step right back up and come out on the field ready to go, just like he said he was going to. And a lot of y'all don't know this about Nick, or really like any of the guys that battle season-ending injuries. What they have to go through is it's pretty grueling, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It challenges you. And Nick was grinding. He was grinding all last season. As soon as he got hurt, he went right to work. Much like many of the other injured guys have done before him and will do after him. So credit to him and credit to the staff that works with all the guys, and then the folks that whoever else Nick is working with, like everybody was doing a really, really good job to get him back to a place where he's going to play high-level football.
Not being able to play, how good has it just felt to be back on the field, and I guess for lack of a better description, just being a football player again?
Yeah, first time I get to be a football player in quite some time. So last time I stepped on the field was back in the fall of 2022. So as you could imagine, right, just a long time coming. So super thrilled to be back out there. It's just been so much fun to just be a part of like the team atmosphere. It's really what it's such a privilege of playing a team sport like this is. You just get to go out there and be a part of something that's way bigger than yourself. And you just get to count on other guys and rely on other guys to put in the effort, the time, the discipline that it takes to be a great football player. So all that combined, you just can't say it enough how much of a privilege it is to be back out there again, and just how thankful I am for everyone who kind of helped get me back to being back out on the field.
And did I know it was a couple months ago, but did the 1 year anniversary of your injury kind of pass without you were knowing it or remarking upon it? I mean, is that date kind of seared into your brain?
I think it was just another day. I think I was in the weight room, honestly, which I know Coach Harbaugh's talked about that. That was my year last year. A lot of time in the weight room. So, I mean, it was definitely something I thought about, but nothing that really. I mean, just another day. Just trying to put that day behind me and just kind of close that chapter and move on. And I'm just so thankful to be where I'm at now in terms of my health and stuff. So proud of the work that I've put in and that all of our staff has poured in. And I was just looking forward now to what lies beyond us.
Besides really hitting the weight room, I know you talked about how you just studied film and studied film and studied systems, what is it like actually putting, the intellectual knowledge into play out here? And do you feel like maybe you're a little ahead because of how much you've studied?
Unique in the fact that it's such a repetitious position, being the offensive line. And again, not being out on the field and since the fall of 2022, and then making the jump from the collegiate level to the National Football League, kind of a double-edged sword, right? So at first it was a little fast, but just over time, over these OTA days and football school days, it definitely has slowed down a ton. And I'm just thankful for the guys that are around me in the offensive line room, and they just help me and just make it easy.
Andrew, for a guy like you who hasn't been able to practice your craft in the field, when will you know that you're getting better at what you do? I mean, or have you gotten better in this year in other ways? Kind of walk us through that. I mean, when will you know as a player, I'm making improvements, I'm better than I was?
I think it's just going out there daily and being a good offensive lineman, right? I really truly believe that it's selfish and boring, right? You just have to put in so much time because it is such a technical position. So just knowing that I'm continuing to do that and just let these guys pour into me that are in the room and our coaching staff and my position coach specifically, it's more of a process really more than an outcome ideology that I have in regards to being an offensive lineman, right? So just every day just trying to get better at something and just slowly over time be molded into a great football player.
Andrew, what was going through that process? Was it difficult, most difficult physically, mentally, frustrating? What was, I guess, how would you sort of sum up the experience of, getting the injury and trying to work your way all the way back through that?
I think it kind of changed over time. So at first it was just a why with a big question mark at the end. And then slowly over time, right, the question changed, or the kind of the response changed, and it was kind of why not, right? Just go attack the rehab, control what you can control, right? The event happened on, what day was it, March 6th, I think, of last year when I got injured. And so I think it was just tough mentally at first, but then once I kind of changed that mindset and just said, hey, I'm just going to attack this head on and just kind of get after it, it definitely just became a lot easier, I think.
Did you talk to Ronnie Stanley about his experience recovering from injury? Did he give you any advice on that front?
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of conversations with Ronnie in regards to his injury that he had, and just kind of more so what it was like coming back, and just things to focus on. Again, he is more of a process over outcome guy, so that definitely helped shape that mentality as well.
Andrew, you're sort of thrown into a fire a bit. You're supposed to compete for a starting job. How's that sort of affected your focus as far as going into OTAs and training camp?
Yeah, I just think to go out to practice every day and just try to be the best football player that I can become, right? And, we'll let everything else take care of itself. I know these gentlemen upstairs have quite the job to decide who's going to play at the end of the day, but as an individual, right, it's up to us to become the best football players we can become, and just make their jobs easier, I guess.
Coming in with an injury and never getting on the field with the guys, I guess, how did they, through this past year, welcome you in, help you become part of the unit?
Being around stuff last year, although I was injured, I was kind of behind the scenes. I was in the classroom every day, so stuff you guys wouldn't necessarily see, but I fully integrated with them back at the beginning of OTAs when we got out there, and like it was nothing had happened, honestly. So the guys in that room, in the offensive line room, are just so awesome, and there's a lot of leadership in there, and they really just want to see you become the best that you can be. And so it really was an easy transition, and I'm just thankful to have them as teammates.
You talked about having to shift your mindset through the injury. Do you see that helping you and translating on the field?
I think so, and specifically my confidence, right? Just at first, when the injury happened, it was kind of like why, and then kind of flipped it to why not, and it just attacked it straight on. And I think just at the end of the day, controlling what I can control, and my response to what had happened was just going to lead to the best outcome possible. So that's kind of like what the mindset flip was like for me.
How's it going, everybody?
Questions?
Roger, what's from going through rookie camp until now, having just about finished OTAs, what's been the biggest adjustment? What stood out that maybe you didn't fully expect going into it?
Yeah, going from rookie minicamp to OTAs, there's quite a bit of differences because you get all the vets coming in, and I'd say the biggest difference is there's been a lot of guys, especially on the defense, that played in this league a long time, and they know their ways, the ins and outs of each play, and they get a lot of experience. So having those guys, having those early experiences, they know all the tips and tricks to their defensive schemes and whatnot. Same thing on the offense. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest adjustments from rookie minicamp to OTAs, just the little details that all the veterans know, and that's just going to come with time and get acclimated to it.
What's it been like playing with Lamar close and personal here?
Yeah, great athlete. As advertised, MVP caliber quarterback. Leader in the huddle, makes great plays, extends plays, everything expected when I got drafted. So,
Roger, I know you'd be grinding anyway, but how exciting is it to know that you have like a legitimate chance, opportunity, to maybe be a starter as a rookie?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for sure. I don't try to focus on the end goal too much, but every day, like you said, grinding in and out. I just want to play hard and compete with the best of the best. So I just come every day, ready to work and keep stacking days.
Roger, what do you say about Jody Alessandris? It's talked about a lot in the Ravens fan circles and just the media. Just what's been your experience working with them?
Yeah, very experienced coach. He's been around the league a long time. Been around a lot of great players, especially when we're in meetings. He's got a lot of great stories about players he's coached and whatnot. So he knows the ins and outs of this league and the tips and tricks, kind of like I was talking about before. But great coach.
I know you're pretty limited in contact, but who've been some of the tough guys to go up against on the defense so far?
Yeah, I think obviously Dafe, he's a really good player. Malik Ham, really good player as well. And then Big Trav in the middle and Brody. Those guys are holding it down for sure. So those are just the list of few. As advertised, those guys are high caliber players. So yeah.
Have you tried adding any weight to your season? Or you have a couple where you
a lot of it is mainly just getting stronger for me. I feel like every football player can get stronger in their game, and especially coming here, Coach Elliott and staff have done a really great job, and I put on a few pounds, and it's not fat, so I'm thankful for that. So yeah, and that's my main thing is gain weight. If so, they like me where I'm at, and get stronger.
Roger, I remember talking to you on that Zoom draft night, and like you were so excited to play with Lamar, right? And so like you come in here, is there anything that, as far as Lamar, the way he carries himself off the field, on the field, that's kind of surprised you, you didn't expect, coming here and working with him?
Yeah, you guys seen it out there a little bit. Very charismatic, especially. He's very animated when it comes to celebrating with teammates. He's very positive, giving guys criticism whenever they need it. And Lamar's that leader that this team has, and he definitely displays it on and off the field. In the locker room, he's the same guy every day. So yeah.
So then, Roger, you're going from one championship caliber program now to the Baltimore Ravens. Has there been anything different maybe that's impressed you in the way that you watch this organization as a whole go about its business?
Yeah, very detailed. I remember the last staff I was just with at school, everything was super nitpicky with the details when it came to practice, off the field stuff, weight room stuff, and everything translated the exact same as what I expected from coming into an organization like this, and everything's not much has changed when it comes to that kind of stuff and those small details, but it's been great and very smooth transition.
Thanks, Roger.
Sweet, thanks guys.